I depend on me knowing what they want for them not to have to be like, hey, Tone, could you put that on? Run that. There's nothing more engineer hates. I'm sure you can relate to this. Than the artist standing over your shoulder telling you how to engineer. But you need to earn that respect and trust for an artist to sit their ass back and not say nothing.
But you heard, yeah. What you heard, What you heard, you can hear a motherfucking thing.
Hey yo, what's up, people? It's your boy Tizzle from Pie Talk about Tizzle. I'm here with TooTone.
Yeah.
And Skinny, of course.
Yeah, man. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, comment to the channel. Also, if you have any music, make sure you send it to the Gmail code 7@gmail.com.
That's the only way we're gonna get it.
Like bro told you, man, we got a legend in here, man.
Yeah.
Legend in the building, TooTone.
Nah, for real,
TooTone, man.
A staple out here, definitely.
15 years plus. You know, some of your favorite artists has either recorded at a studio, got some advice, got a feature, whatever they did. TooTone was a part of some of that, man. So I like to show love to any person that's been involved so long.
Yeah, give them their roses while they here, man. Give them their roses while they here.
Man.
Appreciate that, man.
So, go ahead and let them know where to find you at, man.
@Tone Does Music is my Instagram. That's pretty much the only social media I have. I mean, you know, I try to rock with TikTok and shit every now and then, bro. But it's real nigga.
I can't fuck with it, man. I can't either, man. I downloaded the other day. I'm like, man, I can't go. It can't be that bad. I'm cool,
man.
You gotta be down bad to really be just like, all right, boys and girls. Today we're gonna.
Yeah, man, I'll fuck around, man. But thanks for coming, man. You know what I mean?
Appreciate that, man. Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, like, y'all really doing your thing for the city. I love it.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the people that's noticing it, man.
Yeah,
how can you not notice it?
Huh?
How can you not? Look, when I told people I was doing the show, most people were like, "Oh, for real, for real, for real." But some people would say, "Oh, what's that?" I'm like, how you not know what Cole said? That's how I feel right now. If you tapped in, if you're tapped into the city and you're conscious, that's how some artists, I don't mean to change the narrative.
No, you're good. Do your shit.
That's how some artists ostracize themselves from the city because they purposely don't tap in. And some is with good intent. Sometimes you don't want to be, you don't listen to what's going on too much because you don't want to sound like what's going on, or you want to take on the attributes of what's hot or not. But sometimes, you still have to recognize the algorithm itself and become part of it, so you can be tapped in when people speak on it. So it's like it's like being in a sports bar, and then motherfuckers say, "Hey, what you think about fucking MacArthur running that? Who's that? Nigga, you got the jersey on. How you not know your player is?"
Straight up.
You know, so it's that. So, but most people is just bandwagon jersey wearing motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So.
Hey, yo, that's the perfect way to put it. That's the perfect way to put it. On everything. It's really like that, man. Real. How people be so on a hiatus or on a pedestal that they don't be paying attention to what's going on, man, and they wonder why like some people coming up and not knowing you.
Well, and then you wonder why people don't respect your music or repost your shit or tapped into you, and you think it's just hate.
Nah.
And not everything is hate. Like how they made everything, every sickness, every death was COVID last year.
Yeah, right.
Not everything is labeled hate. Some is just I don't like it. I don't like it, bro. Or I think you could do it better. Or it's different, but not my speed.
And we are allowed to have that opinion.
You should have that opinion.
I think that's the problem with people. Like they don't want to let somebody. Because I had a conversation with a rapper and I was telling him, I'm like, bro, you're supposed to feel like everything that you do is dope. That's how you're supposed to feel.
Right. Shit.
Right.
That's how you're supposed to feel.
Right.
But now once it hit my ears,
I'll tell you the truth of what I think.
I'll tell you the truth of what I think. You know what I'm saying? And you might find it might be a fan base that'll love you to death.
Right. Or you get the constructive criticism that you needed to hear from a nigga you trusted or whose opinion you valued. And that's what it takes. Sometimes it takes having a team. Most times it takes having a team.
Facts.
Not choosing your own beats. Sometimes analyzing your hooks with other people and them saying, "No, I don't think so. What you think about this? Nah, that's fresh. What you mean?" Sometimes it's no. I'm tapped into people you're not who are talking about the shit you're making, and I'm telling you, don't do that.
And you got to be realistic as an artist. Well, how many albums have you ever heard where you liked every song?
Right.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So,
but to even strive for that is not even a thing anymore.
No, they don't even try it.
Yeah.
Not a whole album. Like for you to get even 8 good songs on the album, you'd be like, damn, that album dope. Nowadays, you know what I'm saying?
You expect 3.
Exactly.
Now.
You expect 3 for sure. Yeah. I'm expecting 3.
You didn't say your album.
I want to get most. You know, if I can get if 60% of your album is good, you did a good job.
Yeah, you did your shit.
You know what I'm saying? And I might skip some shit that's good. You know, I look at shit like when you think of the best hits or whatever, it's like, yeah, whenever I get this album, I'm skipping that. Yeah, so I might skip what end up being your hits. I might end up skipping them. It don't mean it was a bad song.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And not every song is relatable to everybody.
Facts.
So it's either tap into your market or create something that's variable for everybody. So then you can tap into your market.
Hey, my boy Ben said some shit to me, man. It stuck out. And I'm trying to say this on every show, man. Artists, right? We're the consumers of your music, right? So we have a right to tell you how the fuck we feel. You feel what I'm saying? If I'm buying your shirt,
you should want
and
that.
I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, hey man, you know what I'm saying? Next time, man, put a little collar on this motherfucker. Yeah. I'm not hating on you.
But just the thing, if most people could do that, like when you hear from your uncle or something, you know how you take that. You're not gonna go say, hey, everybody, my uncle suggested that I do this, so I'm not going. You can have a personal, proper conversation with that one nigga who's a true fan who's telling you, and no one has to know that you got that idea from somebody else, and they just happen to like it. Like you can own it. Your fan was giving you one. Be like, look, I'm telling you how we all feel about you.
Straight up.
I'm speaking as a representative of the fan base, but no one respects that anymore. They think that they're entitled to the likes. They're entitled to the. Love me, man. You love all my shit. You like this. You like what I'm doing. You love this, huh? I'm doing you a favor by appearing right now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
We got to get rid of that until you've earned that. But then, even then, you don't get to say it. We tell you.
Yeah, we tell you. Like, for real. You don't come up with your own nothing, man.
But
like, everybody else got to tell you who you are.
For your own confidence, for your own art that you need to create, we're going to support the mechanism of, you think your shit's tight? You better hope so, because I don't want you to give me your mediocre shit that it was your subpar best. I mean... You know, you're supposed to think, I want to hear that, but you better prove it.
Yeah, for real.
Or get the hell on and let somebody who is and be wise enough to know, man, your partner is the one, bro. You should take your support team and your money, your finance, put it behind him. I guarantee you, because what's 0% of 0?
That's what we try to tell people all the time, man. Sometimes it's just somebody you got to put your money behind. You know, I have conversations with a lot of different artists. I tell them like, man, this person from your team, that's the one. You know, and then I have a conversation with artists like. Some people just believe that they are whatever, like in their own mind, in their own world, they have came to this conclusion of who the fuck they are.
Yeah, for real.
And they don't want to hear, you know, like, and it be so unrealistic.
Yeah.
So I've just told the artist, like, you can't come to me and say, bro, I'm a lyricist, you should hear me. And then when I listen to your music, I'm not hearing the lyrics, or if I am, you're not setting up your bars right. You're not doing certain
bad
shit
quality.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
But to them, they plateaued in that because they don't have anything to contrast it to. So to them, it is the top tier lyrics to them until they've been exposed to what that really is. Then, if they're wise enough or malleable enough to bend, oh shit, I can.
Well, now you just threw me off as a fan. If I could have been a fan, you got me thinking. You got me feeling like you Biggie. And I'm finna get some of your best shit before I hear it. And now that I hear it, I'm like, now we got
Chingy.
But then
Chingy.
Okay, but look, it's this too. If you know at this point too, if you gotten, even as fans have a responsibility to know that to err is human. So there is redemption in the artist who doesn't come out to what they thought it was, and then you say if you're able to say. That shit isn't what I think it is, but you tight. And they're able to from that.
Tell people that. Yeah.
Then they come back and you get a second chance to hear it, but based on you feel like you had a part in it now because you gave them some game and they went in here. Most niggas don't, so no one ever gets to that little experience.
Sometimes you get
but then you get to be a fan though of a fan of your creating. You have it's the interactive, and that's what the age we're in right now though, is that the fans are interactive now.
Facts.
It wasn't that before.
No, back in the day.
It wasn't that.
Nah.
So you almost, what you saying right now, you almost have to have on the grand scale of that mental attitude of, I have to hear what my fans are telling me. They're not always just making fun of me or hating. They're giving me, they like me enough to tell me that I like it, but bro, can you put some more salt here and more lemon juice, bro?
You know how many
This shit gonna be good as a
people you
motherfucker.
never even listen to? So by me listening to you, you know, time is so valuable.
Yeah.
So by me taking my time out to listen to your album, motherfucker, I deserve to say something about this shit.
So don't take that for granted. Don't take that for granted. It's
and that comes with everything. Like you said, the season and adding shit on the critiques come with everything. Us doing this, we get our critiques. You know what I'm saying? We critique each other.
Yeah.
You know, we get our critiques from different people, and you know, you learn and you grow. I think it come with that. Even with you being an engineer, I'm sure it's probably been a time an artist came up in there and you was like, yeah, that's it, and he was like, no, I don't like that or whatever. Like, you know, now he's the consumer.
When it happens, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. You know what I'm saying? Hey, real talk. But being a businessman and doing customer service for so long before I was, in this game.
Yeah.
You know what's worth more. You can get your one off in that moment and lose your customer forever and be able to stand up to yourself and say, I stood up for myself. Or be like, okay, he didn't like that. I don't know everything. I thought I knew what this artist was going to want because I knew what all the other ones wanted. Yeah. You learn something new every day and you realize to dial or retouch the algorithm to be, okay, what did you miss on them? Because I pride myself on knowing ahead of time what they're going to want.
Yeah.
And being, depending on that.
Right.
I set my time to it. You know what I'm saying? As far as you got a 2-hour session, I know what you want to get done. It's muscle memory to create and go and speed and give you shit you want based on your recording time in the booth, my mixing time, and every single time they're done leaving with their shit, and it's 4 o'clock. You know, that's the thing. So I depend on me knowing what they want for them not have to be like, hey, Tone, could you put that on? There's nothing more engineer hates. I'm sure you can relate to this. Than the artist standing over your shoulder telling you how to engineer, but you need to earn that respect and trust for an artist to sit their ass back and not say nothing. Yeah. So it took years to build that too. Yeah. But once you did, but respecting what they want, hearing them and not being like, no, I'm gonna do something else. Oh, that's what you want? Okay, cool. And let them be like, nah, that's not what they wanted. You knew they weren't gonna like that because you know what it was gonna sound like. But let them have a hand in on their own shit. Don't just be like, As producers and engineers, I know if you don't want to do it, don't offer the service. You can still do all the other things in the industry that you want to do, and if something bothers you that much to where you mess up the creative space for the artist, because this is their happy place. Facts. The studio, they're coming to this Chuck E. Cheese for adults. So it's like going to Chuck E. Cheese and then all the machines are broken, which is a lot. It happens a lot, but you want to go to one where all the machines is working, and you know,
or they ain't got no pizza today.
Right. Yeah.
You go to Chuck E. Cheese, they ain't got no pizza. Like,
what's the point?
What am I here for?
Right. So I think that's where most engineers and producers fail, is they depend too much on their ability to please everybody. That's going to be the thing that gets them the A-OK and every single time. And what you mean it ain't right? Sometimes it hurts, and you're like, okay, shit, I didn't look A1 that time. That's the confidence shot. So that's where a lot of artists, I can relate to that as far as, what you mean you don't like that? And you get defensive. And you're like, nah, what I mean, because doesn't everybody try to explain themselves when you tell them what you didn't like about it? Yeah. Nah, what I was trying to do there. No, you get it, OG, right? No, I still think, but when I did that, so it's like, let the fans do their job and then let the engineers do their job. If you know verbiage and if you know the algorithm in the studio and you can speak and let the clock flow, do it. Or it's your money. Do what you make a sandwich during the motherfucking session. I don't care. At that point, and that's where it comes in the play of getting to a place where you can choose the people you work with, because you spend so much time with people. You know,
it's so much in this music. It's so much in this music shit, and that's why it's important for us to get the engineers, the producers, and stuff like that in here, because it's so much behind the scenes that y'all deal with, right?
Yeah.
Being a producer, just knowing how to make sure, a producer and an engineer, just knowing how to mix a beat. Some people don't even mix the beat right.
Right.
And now this is overpowering everything.
On the other side of that, sometimes it's mixed already, and then they want to do all kind of shit that they think they're supposed to do to look like they're doing something as an engineer. Sometimes the producer did a good job and mixed it right, and they overproduce what the producer already gave to you, like, because unless
I never thought about that.
Yeah, oh no, it happens all the time. Sometimes what you hear is the outcome of that, not necessarily that it was everything. It was perfect, and then sometimes the engineer, we fucked it up. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, and that's the one. I guess I'm giving a little bit of the secret sauce.
No, we need that because we listen to we got these headphones on, and it be sometimes like, oh my god.
I want to say, and I was just on another talk show saying this that this something shit I do will make most engineers cringe, because in education you've been taught to do all these certain steps and list of certain frequencies, and it's like sometimes I'm just like, why leave it like that? And they're like, what do you mean leave it like that? Leave it like that.
So sure? Sometimes it's not the producer fault.
Sometimes less is more. Sometimes if you don't have to focus on the vocals, mix the vocals tight against what is there in the production. If there's no damage on the production, it's not, the bass isn't cracking or crack. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm an artist turned engineer, so I see it from an artist perspective first before an engineer. So I'm the nigga like, what you mean? Right there, bro. What you mean you don't know that the echo go right? Come on, bro. Put the echo. Like, man, give me the mouse and the keyboard. I was that guy. You know what I'm saying? It was like, the creative process is stunted by that. My motherfuckers who don't know. If you want to create good music, you got to have a team that can flow in the studio, or it's work.
How long you been doing music? As far as you say, you started off as an artist. How old do you think you were when you started writing, or did you start writing or singing? Or
Well, it started.
How was the process?
I mean, I started doing music at 10. You know, as far as playing the saxophone and shit, and did that.
So there's always some history
Playing
that go
the
to.
saxophone.
Yeah, a lot of people that come on here, man, all the youngsters that
I
watch
heard
it,
people
a lot
say
of people
piano.
play instruments.
I played in
You know what
church,
I mean?
man.
It ain't just
Yeah.
waking up rapping. A lot of people play instruments, man, to the younger crowd watching this,
Oh
man.
my god. Okay,
Oh yeah,
so playing saxophone.
My daddy plays keyboard. So he definitely taught me fundamentals on that. And matter of fact, he gave me my first Tascam 4-track recorder in high school. So I learned I would remake Stevie Wonder songs or Erykah Badu songs, or try to recreate shit, even back then. But I didn't know that wasn't with the intention of I'm gonna come to Las Vegas to set up a studio, man. It's gonna be popping. It was just one thing I had in my tool belt,
Right.
But then being down south, towards the end, there would be like little freestyle, circles and shit like that. And I wasn't out of my shy shit yet. So I would just be watching from afar, like, man, I wish I had the nuts to go over there and just jump in a freestyle. But then, as I started doing music in 99, to give you a definitive answer, and started recording shit and getting my feeling down and recording music and laying shit. The strip used to be way less popping than it is right now, as far as way more open. There wasn't bars and in the streets, and there wasn't Vice. There wasn't. We used to kick it in front of McDonald's in Fat Burger, across from the Monte Carlo, outside like it was nothing, just having a beer. But freestyle sessions would happen in the parking lot in front of the Fat Burger or the McDonald's parking lot. Like we talk.
I remember shit like
Hella
that.
people.
But
Used to be hella people out there.
it wasn't that it was hella people. It was the quality of the people that did rap and hip hop. It was a small group, but it was fresh at that time. It was still the battle era.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We're right before the D-Cross battle rap scene. This was years before that, but that's when I first. Then I had the nuts to jump up in a freestyle and killed that shit. You know what I'm saying? So then that took me back to the studio and then I just started recording motherfucking kids from the neighborhood, and then it kind of just
that like that type of energy is missed in this. I could say
Organic
our with us doing this, our first time probably recreating that was yesterday. We recorded our first show at That's a Bar.
Okay.
And due to our scheduling, a lot of our artists was like overlapping because we was getting everything going. But that energy was there with so many creators where they was able to have fun and enjoy the time.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
And like you said, just sitting in front of when y'all sitting in front of the strip and niggas just freestyling and stuff like that. It's just that's the same as the homies being on the block and we just listening to beats and everybody freestyling.
The come up.
That energy
It's dope. It's dope.
It's a dope energy. That creates
That creativity,
I think that creates creativity and it creates hits.
Yeah.
That creates the sound that you really want. When you got that energy,
And it gives you the confidence and the stage presence you need to have as an artist.
100.
Facts.
It's you know what it is? It's public speaking for our kind. You know how motherfuckers are taught to do public speaking and they go to courses and learn how to enunciate and how to say everything and the verbiage is correct and dialogue is. For us, we don't have that, but we also have the language that we all speak, and we don't need that rhetoric for the rest of society. The respect that I want comes from the niggas that I need to be able to speak a certain language with. So if I don't know that, they know I don't know that, and I can't fake it. That's why a lot of motherfuckers fall off too. And if you ain't got it, don't fake it. Just be yourself. Be humble. If you meant to do it, they're going. I'm the last. Look, it's so funny because I've been at functions or been somewhere where my name happened to come up, and people will talk about me like I'm not even there because I never used to show myself. You know what I'm saying? So I hear, what they talk about and how they, it was all good shit, but they wouldn't have any clue based on my physical look that I was that.
That you was who it was.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it's
you for sure like the Professor X of the engineering world. Like nobody knew exactly what you really looked like. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't really know. And it was like
I didn't know. Like,
Then
when he said,
unless people that went to the studio.
Unless you knew, like there were certain videos that would come out, like me and P Firehead not supposed to be here. That was shot on the west side, right down the street, as a matter of fact.
Right.
Hope you understand why I go so hard and why I'm always happy. I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah, I should have been dead, either locked up. Damn. But I'm still here, no top, huh?
But that's the only time. You know what I'm saying?
There was a couple
like,
other times if you were tapped into those because I did
when my
obscure shit.
When My Kind came out, like that video, it was like everybody all was in one. You know, like y'all had so many different artists.
But even then, what's so funny? It's funny that you say that. Even then, I'm the one nigga name they forgot to put when they printed everybody's name on the thing. So even then, it was like, is that TooTone? Because they didn't put my name on my shit. I'm like, I call Two-Face like, man, y'all didn't put my name on the thing, man.
This one goes out to my kind. Yeah, we out here stuck on our grind.
We out here hustling, bubbling, struggling, thugging. Las Vegas, we do this shit easy as fuck.
And I'm watching, I'm like, who is Tone though? Like, which one is Tone? Like, I never was able to put a face to the name. I know your name because you can't miss it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm a fan of Vegas music and these artists, you have to know the name. Like, even bro, when I was like TooTone, he was like TooTone. TooTone. I'm like, yeah, TooTone. He was like, TooTone that P was just talking about the engineer. I'm like, yeah. He like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Because your name is known. We know the name.
But which one is it?
Who is he? You know what I'm saying?
I actually got a partner named
you saying that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you saying that part makes sense. Like you was like more in the background, more like.
But it worked for me as far as the whole. You know, I'm very conscious of every day becomes yesterday. So at which point do you want to use your tokens for the cool shit? Yeah. And it's like, because I didn't, you know, I wasn't a popular kid in school, it was kind of like, okay, I didn't get it then. I was like, and then, you know, when I moved here, it was getting to know, it was a whole new society, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to muster through, and, you know, music was never like, I didn't say I'm about to become TooTone. It kind of just happened from doing it every day.
Shaking my head, melancholy scene. Everyone got hope. What about me? In the eye of the storm while I'm pouring my art. You die, you're reborn in the form of a star. No, the streets don't love you, and she don't either. No, that nigga don't want you. All your dreams been deferred.
It's like one of the artists with this. I want to say Herbo said it, but he was like, I went to bed Tyrone, I woke up Herbo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you just woke up a whole new part. Like it didn't happen overnight, but at one point it started to feel like this shit was overnight.
But I was never conscious of it though. I never enjoyed it. I know. I'm saying I was always in the studio. It's not that people would tell me. I'm not saying like that, but I'm saying like the way.
Cause now you get out. You
the way landlord gets to enjoy it because it's on purpose. It's like it's out. Like that's the enjoying the whole, and he does it perfect. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's like to be able to do that.
Like this was my vision, and it happened.
That wasn't so. You got to think, bro. I have access, and I watched the algorithm of Vegas from the very beginning as youngsters to older to grown men. So I'd be lying if I didn't say I wasn't. Inspired by, educated by. I learned politics of the city, and I learned the city from working with all these artists and taking on. You'd be stupid to be like, oh, these is younger niggas, man. I ain't finna adhere to no standards of a young. Come on, bro. If you want to move in a society, that you need to know
what's going on,
how this shit goes on, and it's that society of music and gang shit happen to intertwine. You better respect it and adhere to that, or your shit gonna be short-lived, or you're gonna be taken over and disrespected and whatever it is. It's like, you know, but it's so much to it, bro. It's in my mind when I see it going, I feel like I could fix it perfect. But the reality is, the people that play, and it's always gonna be what it is. So you can't take away those things and be like, this is, the secret. It's
so now with you. All the things you've done, it's a must that I bring him up. Blue Angel.
Okay.
In the city, you
rest in peace, Blue Angel.
Rest in peace, Blue Angel.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Angel, the blue money boss. Deep off in my section in them trenches with that eye. So for real, when I spit it, every motherfucking line. If you did it and they get you, do your motherfucking time. If you're looking, you can catch me on my motherfucking grind. Paranoid, you got me nervous, therefore I can never trust the face. Clutching on this dick, I think I'm sick. I passed the case.
Blue Angel has passed away, and he's considered a legend. You are one of Angel's engineers. Yeah. You just played us some shit that was crazy. So it's a must that we bring it up.
Okay.
You created a verse out of shit that he said before and made it sound like a flow.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
When you spend so much time with an artist, which I have with so many artists, a lot of your favorite artists, you know, a lot of these people are I consider them family or close friends and shit like that. Yeah. So when you spend hours like you do creating projects with a lot of people nowadays, motherfuckers spend an hour and do a song, 2 songs even, and then they spend maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours with one engineer, and then maybe move to the next. Mm-hmm. I spent years with people, you know, like 4, 5, 6 hours at a time, 2 times a week, months at a time, then next project, months, you know what I'm saying, where I'm seeing their real lives lived and they're seeing mine. You know, they're all, you know, because you have to. I have to eat lunch and talk to my girl and make phone calls to the kids and deal with my landlord or deal with, while we're in sessions.
Life is still happening.
I spent so much time at the studio. That was, you know, in addition, that's why the balance was you know, thrown off and why, you know, I was gone for a minute because if you don't balance the shit, man, it'll flip on you and fall over, you know.
Right.
So because I knew how his cadence was and how his flow was and the shit he was going through in life and how he talked about it and his spirit and how his comrades and his homies and brothers looked at him and looked up to him and what he was trying to create. I know it sounds dramatic, but this is part of the nuances that it takes to recreate word from word and break down words to recreate more words and adhere and respect a nigga's values, views, and opinions and the way he presents it to other people and do it for him because he's gone.
Yeah.
So
that's the ultimate homage. That's like
to do it and then, you know, shout out to Money Marv because that's who curated the situation that we were, you know, trying to put together and shit. So and even letting his mother, Blue Angel's mother, hear some shit and her, you know, tearing up from what I heard. I wasn't there, but you know, that's how you know that you know I got it right. You know what I'm saying? Because I legitimately fuck with Blue Angel. Like that was my nigga, dog. We was the same, you know, age range. You know what I'm saying? And he brought his Blue Money family to me, and to this day, me and Babe Blue is close as fuck. I mean, that's me talking on the beginning of his, you know. You know, it's 18 months. 18 months to the moon with it, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying? No pun intended. You know, it's like my rapport with Babe Blue is that of a little brother, so I can make, you know, jokes about it and it still be, you know, it's all love because it's like I witnessed the whole thing. When Babe Blue was on Manhunt Mondays years ago. Okay. I'm the nigga that called him and said, nigga, you know you on? He's like, nah. I'm like, nigga, I'm watching you on TV right now, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, he talk about that shit in one of the songs too. I think Local Nigga, he might have been talking. He kind of mentioned being, you know, on late night news. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hear all these different stories from so many different circles of the city, or pockets of the city. Yeah. And when they bring up stories, I'm like, I remember that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, that's a thing for y'all. That's a classic for y'all. Damn, that's crazy. I remember when. You know what I'm saying?
Because you're a part of City Classics. Yeah, you are a part of City Classics. The like you said, the 18 months, the classics. You are a part of that. You know,
most of Shadru shit, man. A lot of his shit was one of those. He inspired the city for years. If people don't give him the credit because you know it's. I hear
people bring it. People bring him up.
They do. They just don't see him.
We just don't see him. But he's brought up when you speak on Vegas. The names that don't get left out ever is Tizzle and X Supreme.
Man,
they don't.
Like they're not leaving their names out.
Kickstarters, bro. I screaming at the top of the mountain, bro. It's like it's the thing that came with those two, both of them, bro. It's like regardless of any other rhetoric, regardless of all the other shit, just what I saw a city hone in on and felt magnetized to was the same as everybody else. You know, you might have been, I was biased at the time because I was helping create it. I was on the other side, so people would like to think, you know, that oh yeah, you were there in the beginning. I was like, I just happened to be there. You know what I'm saying? It was like, it wasn't like, that's the thing. I didn't, what were you saying earlier? Have a horse in the race.
In the race, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even in competition with other engineers are on the come up of the city. I was just creating music. I was doing my own shit, and then people would hear it be like, make my shit sound like that. So okay, and that's how that popped off. But it was happenstance that Sadru and SU would just happen to come, and then that be what it was. But to be able to see that, and then years later see that's like what you see on TV when you see the origin stories or like a Rough Riders or like something like that, and you see them talk about it. And now to look around and be like, damn, this is starting to feel like when I watch those shows, how they talk about these cats.
Yeah, it's about, and you can feel something about to happen. Cause once some shit hit the next level and blow, them stories have to be talked about. You know what I mean? Because like when I came up with them, and it was you kind of knew certain people was gonna blow. You kind of felt like
you hope,
you hope like, damn, how the fuck this dude colder than most people I'm listening to on the radio, most people albums I'm buying. You know what I mean? And you know that they working with less. So it's like, damn, how this motherfucker... And you see the reaction, you know, it was crazy. Yeah. It was like that with P. With Pee Wee, too. It was like, I always felt like...
We gonna make it.
One day I was like, man, that nigga gone. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, no matter what's going on, it's like, yeah, that nigga right there.
Dedicated.
Man. And he was cold, though. Yeah. It's a difference. Like, because it's some niggas that hustle real hard and they grind real hard, but they don't got the... They don't got the talent. And it's some people who...
That's most of it.
Yeah.
It's, I mean...
Some people ain't got to grind too, though.
But it's not supposed to be easy, though. So that's why getting that position, that coveted spot, is so hard to do because of all the different nuances and like shit you name. It's like you have to muster through the years of hate and the things that come with that, or the falling off because it costs to be in the studio. It costs to live up to your lyrics.
Facts.
I mean, you can talk about having, a Beamer or a Benz or a Bentley, whatever it is, but if you don't have it when they see you in the streets or see you, it's you fall off. So it's like you have to adhere to that shit too. It's not just being good enough. It's all the shit behind the scenes we don't see as fans. As fans, we just hear the music and be like, "Oh, you tight? Why the hell you ain't on?" Because there's no manager, there's no agent, there's no contract, there's no producer, there's no ownership.
That when we see you, like you said, it's one thing you talking about all that stuff, and now we expecting when we see you.
Yeah.
Like now,
that's how you create a fan base.
Yeah. Like now, Vegas have a media, right? Like we have a media now, so we have something that the world, if you're when they watching these artists and they seeing them on different media, they're expecting to see something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's an image they're expecting to see. I'm listening to your music all this time, so if you done rapped about all these chains and these Rolexes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I need to see it.
You come sit on the couch and you ain't got it.
Yeah,
it's people that's sitting that's been watching you, like, or listening to you.
We invited you for you to bring that stuff with you.
Bring your personality. Hey, a lot of people don't even know how to bring their personality. You gotta bring your personality.
And that's where it goes back to what you was talking about earlier with the whole freestyling. Circles and jumping those things. That's where you develop that persona, and that be able to. You have to be that at all times. It's like, but if it's who you are, this who. Man, I'm gonna bring up somebody that I'm sure y'all know. Okay. But this cat is so genuine, but he's always the same nigga, and it has been, and that's Mouthpiece. Mouthpiece has always been
shout
a
out Mouthpiece.
Shout out Matt. He's always been the same dude.
And he don't mind looking out.
No,
he's not a.
He knows who he is and who he wants to be and who he's not going to be, and that's just it. Would either love it or hate it. It's like, but there's always that's the kind of shit I can get down with. That kind of shit.
That's king shit though. You supposed to know your lane. You gotta know what's up and what's around you, and you can't be scared to spread the shine. You know what I mean?
Nah, hell no, no. You know and that's the thing, man. When you telling the story from your perspective, sometimes that's your perspective, and it's like, I just want to take this show to give all the cats in Vegas they fucking flowers. You know what I'm saying? Right. There's everybody that was there that's part of the story. I just picked a point to tell it from when I'm talking about how I feel it sparked off. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like timeline for me.
Yeah, it's like man, it's the city has been filled with talent for a long time.
And there's nothing wrong with putting a timestamp on what you feel.
Hell no.
Like you can't get mad at that. Like for me, Vegas timestamp is Murder's Click. When I first heard Murder's Click, when I first listened to Foolish P them, and I'm sitting at the house, and and then I was hearing, oh, they might be signed to Death Row, and I'm big on Pac at the time, and I'm knowing about shit like being around the homies. So Murder's Click then was like, oh, we got it.
And I came right. That's when my initial start into the game in the city came around that. But even then, the there was no MySpace and there was no Facebook and there was no YouTube. So it could only be based on your place in the city, where you from, what you hear, what you say. But it's like when you hear it on a grand scale, grand compared to anything else that we ever experienced in Vegas, you know what I'm saying? You hear the rhetoric and you see, you know, the videos and you hear Hitman beats on every damn track. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Hitman beats.
Definitely shout out Hitman.
You know what I'm saying? Like a motherfucker. Them niggas was over there.
They grinding too.
He from the beginning.
I remember
he from when
the Carters. Shout out to Carters.
Twix is my partner, right?
Yeah.
Twix is my partner. When I first heard anything from Hitman Beats, it was a Twix song.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like,
shout out Twix too, the bros.
Shout out Twix, man.
Also a part
brother,
of, you know, when we speak on y'all are part of this 15-year run. Yeah. Like it's like the Marvel 10-year run, right? Like y'all are part of that type of shit. Like when Marvel had their 10-year run, and it was like, I can't wait to see the end game because I've seen all this. That's what this
Marvel's
is like.
Still on their run.
They still on their run, but I'm talking about when they got to the end game. So that's what we at with this music shit. Is like when it was BDK, when it was, you know, YBE,
Money Militia,
Gutter, Money. When it was all them,
Black
it was like y'all was there.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like we was all in the fight.
Yeah, but the book has to start with a chapter 1 every time.
Facts.
So, my chapter 1 is G Knock, P Fire, D Cross, Rugarico Butter.
Okay.
Landlord, Sidrew, SU, Two Realists. Did I say SU? He gets twice. I could say SU twice. Like shit, it was so Lady West. Oh, so I mean B Mate. It was so I don't leave out anybody.
Yeah.
But and Hitman was making a lot of them fucking beats, bro. And motherfuckers was once that settled in, everybody started listening, started gaining traction. But it's like, but chapter 1 is, hey, TooTone, this is Prince, man. I'm in the BDK, man. I know you're in the BDK too, man. I want to get some studio time. Come in when you get a chance. In my cheesecake apron. That for me, that's chapter 1.
Yeah, that's when it starts for you. And every book needs a chapter 1. You right.
Straight up.
So what it was like in the studio with them?
So Twix is Morgan Freeman.
He narrating it
straight up. He really look.
Oh,
okay. Before you, I know you about to segue into something else, but look. BDK, and I have to give BDK his flowers. I mean, and it's like, most of the shows I've done so far, it's so hard to segue into everything I want to say. It's so much. You think it's
we wasn't gonna let you about BDK. We wasn't gonna let you about BDK.
but it's like, you know, and shout out my brother Jesse James, because that's who brought me around. That's who I did music with first.
Okay,
is Jesse James.
I know Jesse James too.
And he brought me around, and then that's when the Twix was and DB's was a duo, and they had won a contest and for studio time over at what is I think is Rehab Studios. It was another studio back then, and they had won some studio time there. And Jesse James brought me to their session, and I met Twix there at that. And then from then on, it was whatever. But BDK was my introduction to the city, because when I moved here, I moved to Henderson. So I was with, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you moved to the good part.
Green Valley, you know, Green Valley and, 97 Green Valley. You know what I'm saying? Where the statues were still clean. You know what I'm saying? But BDK is what gave me the acceptance to this part of it, because I got to get a name with the real culture of the scene in Vegas. So BDK is what led to me even be able to introduce myself into that.
BDK at that time, they doing events, they putting on shows, they doing parties. You got Twix doing the promotion, so it's perfect to put yourself into that mix. You're putting yourself like.
And I didn't at first. Look, that's the thing. I was still always me, and I'm a real detached to myself. So James did try to bring me around for a minute. I hung out for a couple of years just being in the circle, and then DB's finally was like, "Come on, man, why don't you hells, let's BDK." And then I was at Twix's house when they did the whole induction thing, and it was semi-dramatic, but but he was in a fraternity, so he know how to put on that kind of, you know what I'm saying? I never had none of that, bro. I didn't have big brothers. I didn't have pops, really, around like that. So, I didn't ever have that camaraderie. So to finally get that, is when everything started to grind. But I think that was the secret to my shit, is that I didn't have any. Once again, I want to keep to ground. I didn't have a horse in the fucking race,
that's
man.
The best shit.
So I was accepted like, this nigga ain't a threat to me. Yeah. And I looked like I wasn't a threat. So, and I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So I got to just get the best of everybody's best. Just because I was in every situation. Because I'd be that one person that didn't exist before in a certain circle. But I'd be that for circle after circle after circle after circle and still be able to be myself. So that's what made it work, because I could still be me, make corny jokes, the dad jokes. Right. And, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I can't help it. I'm just myself, bro. So to be able to do that in a game where that's hard to be yourself.
And you've been around so many heavy hitters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You're around a lot of the heavy hitters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How you feel
it's great
how you feel like the scene is now?
You know,
yeah. How you feel like the rap scene is now compared to the? I'm talking about as far as like the consumers and the fans and the hype.
It's way more involvement, only because Instagram, social media requires that.
Yeah.
But the real love and the passion that they have for it before was a little bit more organic and like,
okay,
it hadn't been taken over by the machine yet. Does that make sense? And that's just watching from somebody new to the city, looking at the scene that just, you know, like, I'm part of this, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, what are they doing over here? You know, hip hop was different back then. So by today's standards, because it's so in everybody's face, so oversaturated, the fan doesn't take it and doesn't, like, it's not embrace it as much because there's so much of it.
So much.
You know what I'm saying? It's not like where it's hard to find. It's just there every fucking day. I'm just gonna pick today what I like. I'm a Trippie Redd fan now. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
how it go, and that sucks. Damn that you said that sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks that it really go like that. Like the fan don't have time to be a fan, and you know what I'm saying? It's like you
which is why the ones that can still be around, why that is important to speak on that, because that's hard to do. Even in a city like this, motherfuckers ain't made it all the way to the top, but just to even be in a society that's so judgy and so cliquey and so quick to cancel, to still be able to maneuver and get a bag or just even be brought up in a sentence in a positive light, you know, is something to
because it's forgotten so fast. Like yesterday it's forgotten so fast.
Yeah, and you want to give everybody
their flowers,
but it's like, bro,
it's not gonna come in an hour. It's not gonna come.
No, but and my point in that is neither is the fame, neither is so that's why you have to you have to enjoy while it's happening. You have to that's your moment until it's a bigger moment.
And you got to be consistent though. Like once you leave that consistency, it runs away from you. You know what I'm saying? If I'm running a race and if we all doing whatever the race is, even if it's a marathon, even if I just stop walking, it's over. You know what I'm saying? Like, you lose, and so it's about being consistent. I don't need to run as fast as you, but I gotta keep stepping.
If you're organically doing what you always do, that's not hard. It's not. Because you're going to do it based off the past. We were talking about this shit earlier when we first opened up too. You're going to do it based off the whole, I love doing this shit. I'm just doing it for the love. Fuck the money. And then comes the part where, well, damn, is the money going to come eventually? Okay, then it's like, man, ain't no money in this shit. Now you got, now years have gone by. So now you may have kids or a baby mama. And she's like, you going to the studio. What you mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got if you can muster through that, or whatever your situation is for that, like to be able to go through each stage of life, become a grown man while you still pursue something that's hard to. It's hard. Most people give up because there's no instant gratification.
Yeah, fact.
So if you don't get it right away, you're like, man, fuck all that. You know what I'm saying? But if you have the ability to get a 9-to-5 or have a hustle on the side that can keep you in there and keep up with the Joneses, because that's hella important too.
Right.
It take a bag to maintain that for 10 years.
There's so many people that just try to step in, like how y'all been doing this for so long. Like when it come to people that just, as soon as they try to step in, they try to take over or not give credit to who it is, because it's so much of that now.
You got to read the room
in this fast-paced thing. You do.
You have to read. You have to read the room. You have to know when you just step into a city, and you can't just because you have a fresh ass song or you got some money.
Oh man,
nigga, Vegas is mine. Wait, hold on, niggas. We've been here 10, 15 years. what I'm saying? Like, I don't think so. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy, yeah.
But at the same time, if a motherfucker can't bring that industry to Vegas, why not? Because that's the same thing we do to our local motherfuckers. So
Right.
what, we're gonna do it at a local level and at a level of somebody, a brand new nigga coming in and he gonna blow it up for us?
What?
Got to pick.
Once it's blown up, it's blown up. You know what I'm saying? Once Atlanta blew up, Atlanta is a staple now
Facts.
for that.
Can't stop it.
And then changed into different medias. It became a staple for that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like New York. We can have that. We can have that in Vegas, and it's happening right now. Like we all come together. I don't know if y'all aware. You know, shout out Win City, Tyler Gas,
Shout out to Gas, man.
Pat Hunley, Dawson. I mean,
team, for sure.
It's about unifying us all together.
I can't wait to see y'all first.
And y'all
I've been
doing
watching.
it.
I've been
Everybody
watching
on
y'all
it.
y'all putting in the city.
The energy in the room when we're together. And you know, me and Gas go back. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's talked about it on his gram and shit like that. And me and Pat go back, but never met in person. We were always just heard about each other via, you know, when Yada would or ATM or Deuce or Quake as well. They're all ATM, but Quake or like from my kind, you know.
Right.
Pat was engineering their verses and sent them over while I did everybody else's. But Quake and Deuce and Yada and I can't remember if Lil Sox did it in my shit or over there. But it was always that relationship, but we never met in person. So to finally meet in person and then get to know each other and then say, you know what?
That's why I can't wait to see it, man. When
dope,
you know,
man.
shout out to Gas. When me and Gas was first having a conversation, that was one of the things that he was saying. Like, you know, he wanted to bring the people together. You know what I'm saying? Because it's such a division that don't need to be there. You know what I'm saying? We so divided for no reason. And same as I told Gas, you know, when he was like, "Hey man, I want to sponsor what y'all doing," I told him it's kind of our same thing. You know, like I wanna bring people together. Like with us getting the YouTube following that we getting and people starting to follow us on YouTube, I tell anybody that's doing YouTube, like, listen, we're trying to create this community.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
working
And
together.
also the same when you talk to somebody,
We're
like,
working together.
We
man.
trying to create this community, so we not hating on what you're doing. We not mad at what
And
you're
an
doing.
unbiased community.
Yeah,
An honest and unbiased.
Honest,
Definitely.
unbiased community. So
No horse in the race.
when
No
it
horse in the
comes,
race, man. My favorite line. Ain't no horse in the race.
when it
For
comes to
real.
y'all, you know, the engineers, you know what I'm saying, the elite engineers, the ones that's been doing it for so long, you know, it's more than just y'all four that's gonna be sitting down, but just to see it, to see something of somebody. Yes, you know what I'm saying, like because we know everybody played a part in what's happening.
And everybody go to y'all. Like at the end of the day,
and the
everybody
same
go
way,
to y'all.
and the same way I just explained how my relationship with people grew in my own capacity. They have those stories with their clients too.
Exactly. So that's gonna bring everybody.
imagine Voltron. You know what I'm saying? That's what we putting our piece together, which networks the entire world. I'm sure we do about 70% of the niggas in the city collectively.
Yeah.
To network all them together instantly like that is like a surge. And it's nothing but positive. When you see when the pilot, we already shot the pilot, you know, for the
I can't wait for it to drop.
and we're gonna have y'all on the show for sure.
Oh,
you know
we
what I'm
coming.
saying?
We
But
coming.
it's like the narrative can change now, you know, because what we're doing is taking the proverbial reins away from the artist to be responsible for the politics of the city. Let us have the conversation about it, and an unbiased one where the truth can be spoken and the network can be attached. That's all it takes. It's instead of the hearsay anymore and the I heard what he said, what she said. Man, what you think about Tone being back? You think that's gonna fuck up your business? Is that good? We're not worried about none of that. It's plenty of room for everybody to get a bag and record every other artist. I know. I don't feel any kind of. I'll say this to everybody out there. I don't feel any kind of way about artists I used to record or don't record. That we're all
together.
There's I don't have enough hours in the day to record everybody, even if that was the case. So it's like, and I want my space and a balance too. We all do, and there's plenty to go around. So why? That's not the competition. We're all a family now, and let's act like it.
Let's act like
so
that's the thing.
We're to be a city and be divided. That can't be the narrative. If we discovered that's what the problem is. That's like realizing you have like an issue because of something your mom did back in the day. Once you recognize that's where it stemmed from, you've unlocked it. Now you can't use that as an excuse anymore. So at least from my perspective and from my voice on this show, what is there to talk about anymore as far as we're divided anymore? Fuck that shit.
And
let's come together.
That's why. That's one thing why we do what we do, and why I say what I say. Like I don't support the narrative that Vegas don't support. I don't support that narrative no more. Vegas do support. I don't support the beat. We don't support the beefs and the bullshit at all. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't support that. We're not, because somebody has to recognize that we family. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We are family, regardless of what's going on. Like me and bro telling everybody real quick. If me and bro getting into it, if it's our family getting into it, you're not gonna hear about it. We family. Yeah. We can fight behind it. We can fight in the backyard. We can do whatever we need to do in the backyard. But when you see us on the front street, we family and we fighting together.
And that's how Vegas.
And that's how we treat this city.
That's how Vegas got started.
That's how Vegas has to act.
You know, I know when me and my business partner, our vision with Mad Records is to be a staple like that for the city.
Right.
Where it's just like TooTone Studios used to be, where it was a safe place for artists to be themselves, create, but now resource it out to bigger channels to where we're, you know, Motown now. You know what I'm saying? Vegas can be that. We can be that if we do that whole thing. That's which is having, we were talking about this before, having shows that are respected where we're 50,000 people there. That's the kind of respect we need as a city. That's the look we need.
Definitely.
And no more hole in the walls. Of course, that's the grind. But for certain tier rappers, that's not even. We got motherfuckers that are going out of the country.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And I feel like you know, everywhere they have their platforms. You know what I'm saying? I feel like right now we got our platforms, and it's time for us as a platform, media, whatever we are, what we doing. It's time for us to find a way to get our artists paid. We have to get them paid. They've been doing this for too long, struggling for too long.
No, and that educating
back artists. And forth to prison because you wasn't getting paid.
But they need to be educated on how to get paid. That's the thing. It's like you aspire to be this rapper and buy these chains, but a lot of the shit you see is that took some money and a bag, and to attain that is really fucking hard. It's really hard. That gold weigh a lot, bro. It weigh a whole lot, bro.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. That's real. So when it comes, like I say, when it comes to this shit, like, you know, y'all with the engineers, with the producers, with everything, it's like, you know, you've been an artist. You know, being an artist, my mindset was always like, fuck, I'm giving out so much money.
Yeah.
And I have no way to get it back. And then outside of being an artist, being a hustler, it's like, at least when I'm buying this, I know how to recoup.
You're waiting 2 years. You're waiting quarterly. If you're really making the money you saying you making from rap, bro, that shit don't come like that. Now it do come like that when you're doing the shows. It do come like that when you're selling merch. But nobody is having the mindset to do that on a grand scale that can pay for their career. They'll sell a t-shirt here and there, whatever. But it's like, if you remember back in the day, Lil Will. I don't know if y'all remember how Lil Will used to merch shit, but that motherfucker was the king of merch in the city. Man, I remember he brought lighters around with his name on it. I'm like, what the fuck, nigga? You got your name on lighters? Yeah, bro, I got a whole bunch.
Straight up.
Yeah, shout out to Lil Will, man. That's the bros, bro.
Same as I remember seeing Quadir on the bus.
I mean, I just had Quadir in the studio, bro.
Same with him. I was like, he on a bus?
Like,
a bus just passed me with somebody on it?
Right.
And it was Quadir. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he was just in the studio with Samson. Shout out Samson.
See, shout out Samson too.
Yeah, man. When he came in, I had to give him his flowers right away because I'd never met Quadir, but been out for so long. But I remember when you'd see that because he was the first one. See how easily you can pinpoint chapter one for that part. Like, if you think about it, you can say the origin of anything, but he was the first one to teach us how to market. Oh shit, it ain't just word of mouth. Oh shit, you're on the side of a bus. You on bus seats.
And that was Triple P. Shout out to Triple P then, man.
Yeah, man.
See, so it's just so much, man.
There's so many aspects of the city, bro. It's man.
So much. That's why we can't wait.
We gotta have a part 2 or something.
Oh yeah, man. That's why we can't wait to go on your show. So you know we gonna wind down. But we appreciate you for coming out.
It was good to be here, brother.
So I got this segment, right? It's called Game for Lames. Let the people know some game you didn't acquire in life that you feel that help you like deviate from some bullshit. You know, to help you miss some drama or whatever.
Man, I use literally every interaction of every day to constantly keep my protective algorithm going. So so anything that happens that's awkward or that makes me like, I automatically delete that thing from happening again. Does that make sense? It's like it's so intricate.
I need to get to that.
It's so intricate how I do it. It's just like I went to a store and they didn't have the gum I like one time. Okay, I'm never going to that store ever again because I don't ever want to deal with the fact that they didn't have that gum that I'm always going to get.
Yeah.
Adapt that to every single thing. I went to a store and that water wasn't cold enough, and I need my water ice cold when I buy it. That girl I talked to, she said she ain't like my music. I can't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Like everything. Being honest.
It's hard to cut it off after one. You good?
But look, that's the thing. You have to. Yeah. You have to because you know down the line. You got to think, man. I got some years on me, so I got some. I got some.
You on to something, man.
But it's it's from I gave this analogy on Easy Mo shit about a pecan pie, and it's really about being verbal from the very aspect and eliminating all the bullshit.
Like shout out Easy Mo too.
Man, I'm gonna have to deal with the misery of what this is gonna, down the line when I don't have to. Yeah. I can hurt your feelings real quick one time and that's it. Then other than that, go through all the time wasted, through any kind of relationship. That's from client to girlfriend to restaurant to. So that's what I've learned in my real life that I apply to everything is that I don't accept anything that goes against the standard that I've created over the years because that standard works. No new friends.
Hey man, I'm gonna keep it right here. That's the best answer I got.
That's crazy.
I think you probably just changed my life, man. I definitely need to start applying that. That's some real shit.
It works. I promise.
I'm gonna definitely start applying that, man.
It works. You're doing yourself a favor and the other person a favor. No one loses in that scenario. I promise you. You just both saved yourself, or you kept a scammer from scamming. It's that easy.
Man. Hey,
but you got to be honest with yourself, because the instant gratification that comes in most situations too is a motherfucker too. So it's do I get everything that's in that basket right now, or avoid the fact that that basket is about to get dropped 2 feet later and there ain't no more baskets, but the nigga that has baskets saw you get one, he ain't finna give you one because you dropped them. Fuck.
Yeah, for real.
So is it worth that? Let me just get one of them motherfuckers to see what it do, and I'll come back for some more if they can.
On everything. Straight up, man. Enough said. I'm gonna just get one out the basket, man.
That's dope.
But with that being said, man, this probably talk about Tizzle, man, and Tone, thanks for pulling up, man.
Yeah, man, we appreciate
showing out with us, man.
We appreciate you, bro.
Dropping this knowledge on us. We got a lot of behind the scenes that we gonna have to definitely put in here because he was definitely dropping knowledge the whole time he was here. Oh, and shout out Bishop.
Maygene and
hey man, Bishop, slide through, man. Come on the couch, man. Come holler at us, man. We got our merch as well.
Go get you shit. It's some cover, man. Look out for Landlord's new project. Well, it's out Far From Perfect.
Oh yeah, we on it. Perfect.
P Fire dropping. Got delayed because of some artwork difficulties. But,
okay.
He
working?
Yep. I got a feature on that motherfucker with him. That song. It's called Hard to Breathe. That motherfucker fresh.
Okay.
Look out, PZ World dropping. I'm on that motherfucker too.
Oh yeah, we heard.
Shout out D Cross.
Shout out Cross for sure.
Big Homie is a song I'm on. I love that song, bro. When I tell you that nigga chopped on that bitch. He chopped through the whole thing.
Oh, the whole seat.
Man, yeah. Shout out to man, gotta get Cross's flowers too. Shout out to everybody, man. But Mad Records for sure. And it's Win City on mine. Shout out to all my niggas and my family, my sons, man, everybody, bro. I don't give enough flowers to enough people enough time. So shout out to the camera girl. Thank you.
Shout out to Two-Face, man.
Yeah, man, shout out Priceless, man.
Priceless.
Man. I gotta get him to studio. I own some studio time too, by the way.
Shout out to everybody, man. Y'all know the Tizzle is code 7 and we are gone.
How the fuck you winning if you lost in this? Niggas think they own so they get off in this. It's easy to get crossed in this. On TOP, we gon' get far from this. Step up in they town and burn it down like I'm a horse.